I'm gonna be reading Pride and Prejudice, Volume 2, Chapter 1. Yeah, let's start. Miss Bentley's letter arrived and put an end to doubt. The very first sentence conveyed the assurance of their being all settled in London for the winter, and concluded with her brother's regret at not having had time to pay his respect to his friends in Hertfordshire before he left the country. Hope was over, entirely over, and when Jane could attend to the rest of the letter, she found little except the professed affection of the writer that could give her any comfort. Miss Darcy's praise occupied the chief of it. Her many attractions were again dealt on, and Caroline boasted joyfully of their increasing intimacy and ventured to predict the accomplishment of the wishes which had been unfolded in her former letter. She wrote also with great pleasure of her brother's being an inmate of Mr. Darcy's house, and mentioned with raptures some plans of the latter with regard of to new furniture. Elizabeth, to whom Jane very soon communicated the chief of all this, heard it in silent, let me look up this word, indignation, something like that, but let me look it up. Yeah. Indignation. Her heart was divided between concern for her sister and resentment against all the all the others. To Caroline's assertion of her brother's being partial to Miss Darcy, she paid no credit that he was really fond of Jane, and she doubted no more than she had ever done. And much as she had always been disposed to like him, she could not think without anger, hardly without contempt, on that easiness of temper, that want of proper resolution, which now made him the slave of his designing friends, and led him to sacrifice his whole happiness to the caprice of their inclinations. Had his own happiness, however, been the only sacrifice, he might have been allowed to sport with it in whatever manner he thought best. But her sister's was involved in it, and she thought he must be responsible himself. It was a subject, in short, on which reflection would be long indulged, and must be on a villain. She could think of nothing else, and yet, however, Bingley's regards had really died away, and were suppressed by his friend's interference. Whether he had been aware of Jane's attachment, or whether he had escaped his observation, whichever were the case, though her opinions of him must be materially affected by the difference, her sister's situation remained the same, her peace equally wounded. A day or two passed before Jane had the courage to speak of her feelings to Elizabeth, but at last, on Mrs. Bennet's leaving them together after a long irritation than usual about Netherfield and its master, she could not help but saying, "Oh, my dear mother had been more command over herself. Oh, my dear mother had more command over herself. She can have no idea of pain she gives me by her continual reflections on him, and I will not let me look at this word. Look up this word. Repine. Repine. It cannot last long. He would be repine. It cannot last long. He will be forgot, and we shall all be as we were before. Elizabeth looked at her sister with incredulous salut. Oh my goodness. Solicitude. Solicitude, but not said nothing. You doubt me, cried Jane, slightly covering. Indeed, you have no reason. He may have lived in my memory as the most amiable man of my acquaintance. That's it all. That is all. I have nothing either to hope or fear, and nothing to reapproach him with. Thank God I have not that pain. A little, therefore, I shall certainly try to get the better. With a strong voice, she soon added, I have discomfort immediately that it has not been more than an error of fantasy on my side, and that it has done no harm to any one but myself. My dear Jane, exclaimed Elizabeth, you are too good. Your sweetness and disinterestedness are really angelic. I do not know what to say to you. I feel as if I had never done you justice or loved you as you deserve. Mrs. Bennet, Miss Bennet eagerly disclaimed all extraordinary merit and threw back the praise on her sister's warm affection. Yea, nay, said Elizabeth, this is not fair. You wish to think all the world respectable, and are hurt if I speak ill of anybody. I only want to think you are perfect, and you set yourself against it. Do not be afraid of my running into any access or my and and look up this word. Sorry, I like this word. Oh my goodness. Okay, there you go. Encroaching. Encroaching on your privilege of universal goodwill. You need not. There are few people whom I really love, and still fewer of whom I think well. The more I see of the world, the more I am dissatisfied with it, and every day confirms my belief of the inconsistency of all human characters, and of the little dependence that can be placed on the appearance of either merit or sense. I have met with two instances lately, and I would not mention. The other one is Charlotte's marriage. It is uncountable, and in every view it is uncountable. My dear Lizzie, do not give away to such feelings of these. They will remain your happiness. You do not make allowance enough for difference of situation and temper. Consider Mr. Collins' respectability and Charlotte's prudent. Is it prudent? Prudent. Oh, steady character, prudent, steady character. Remember that she is one of a large family. That as to fortunate is a most eligible match, and be ready to believe for everybody's sake that she may feel something like regard and esteem for our cousin. To oblige you, I would try to believe almost anything, but no one else could be benefited by such a belief as this. For were I persuaded that Charlotte had any regard for him, I should only think worse of her understanding than I now do of her heart. My dear Jane, Mr. Collins is a conceited pompous, is it pompous?
Pompous. Pompous,
Narrow-minded, silly man. You know he is, as well as I do, and you must feel as well as I do that a woman who marries him cannot have a proper way of thinking. You shall not defend her, though it is Charlotte Lucas. You shall not, for the sake of one individual, change the meaning of principle and integrity. None endeavor to pursue yourself or me. That selfishness is pre predu. Let me look up this word. Prudence. Is it prudence? Is it present?
prudence.
Prudence and insensibility of dangers. Security for happiness. I must think your language too strong in speaking of both, replied Jane. And I hope you will be convinced of it by seeing them together, happy together. But enough of that. You alluded to something else. You mentioned two instances. I cannot misunderstand you, but I entreat you, dear Lizzie, not to pain me by thinking that person to blame and saying your opinions of him is stank. Oh no, no, let me see if I said it right. Sank.
Sunk.
Sunk is sunk. We must not be so ready to fancy ourselves intentionally injured. We must not expect a lively young man to be always so guarded and circumspect. It is very often nothing but our own vanity that deceives us. Women fancy admiration means more than it does, and men take care that they should. It is if it is designedly done, they cannot be justified. But I have no idea of there being so much design in the world as some person imagine. I am far from attributing any part of Mr. Bentley's conduct to design, said Elizabeth, but cannot scheming to do wrong or make others unhappy. There may be error, but there may be misery. Thoughtfulness, want of attention to other people's feelings, and a want of resolution will do the business. And do you impute it to either impute? Let me look up this word.
Impute.
Impute it to either of those? Yes, to the last. But if I go on, I shall displease you by saying what I think of persons you esteem. Stop me whilst you can. You persist then in supporting his sisters influence him. Yes, in conjunction with his friend. I cannot believe it. Why should they try to influence him? They can only wish his happiness. But if he is attached to me, no other woman can secure it. Your first position is false. This may wish many things besides his happiness. They may wish his increase of wealth and con, coincidence. Con, let me look. I know this word, but I forgot how to say it. For instance,
Consequence.
consequence. They may wish him to marry a girl who has all the importance of money, great connections, and pride. Beyond that, they do wish him to chase Miss Darcy, replied Jane. But this may be from better feelings than you are supposing. They have known her much longer than they have known me. No wonder if they love her better. But whatever may be their own wishes, it is very unlikely they should have opposed their brothers. What sister would think of herself at liberty to do it, unless there were something very objectionable if they believed him attached to me, they would not try to part us. If he were so, they could not succeed by supposing such an affection. You make very everybody acting unnaturally and wrong, and me most happy. Do not distract me by the idea. I am not ashamed of having been mistaken, or at least it is slight. It is nothing in com- comparison of what I should feel in thinking ill of him or his sister. Let me take it in best light, in the light in which it may be understood. Elizabeth could not oppose such a wish, and from this time Mr. Bentley's name was scarcely never mentioned between them. Mrs. Bennet still continued to wonder and repine at his returning no longer, and though a day seldom passed in which Elizabeth did not account for it clearly, there seemed a little chance of her ever considering it with less pras, 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 let me look it up.
Perplexity.
Perpres-
Perplexity. Perplexity.
perplexity. Perplexity. Her daughter endeavored to convince her of what she did not believe herself, that his attention to Jane had been merely the effect of a common and trans trans let me look it up.
Transient.
Transient liking which ceased when he saw her no more, but through the possibility of the statement were admit at the time, she had the same story to repeat every day. Mrs. Bennet best comfort was that Mr. Bentley must be down again in the summer. Mr. Bennet treated the matter differently, so Elizabeth said he one day, your sister is cross in love, I find. I congratulate her. Next to being married, a girl likes to be cross in love a little now and then. It's something to think of, and gives her a sort of distinction among her companions. When it's your turn to come, you will hardly hear to be long outdone by Jane. Now is your time. Here are officers enough to at Meryton to disappoint all the young ladies in the country. Let Wickens be your man. He is a pleasant fellow, and would jilt,
Jilt.
jilt you credibly. Thank you, sir, but a less agreeable man would satisfy me. We must not all accept Jane's good fortune. True, said Mr. Bennet. It's a comfort to think that whatever of that kind of may befall befall
Befall.
befall you, and you have an affectionate mother who will always make the most of it. Mr. Wickens' society was material service in dispelling the gloom which the late pre- perverse occurrences had thrown on many of the Longbourn family. They saw him often, and to his other recommendation was now added that of general on reserve. The whole of what Elizabeth had always heard, his claims of Mr. Darcy, and of that he had suffered from him, was now openly acknowledged and publicly canvassed. Canvassed.
Canvassed.
Canvassed, and everybody was pleased to think how much they had always disliked Mr. Darcy before they had known anything of the matter. Miss Bennet was the only creature who could suppose there might be any Excruciating.
extenuating,
Extenuating. Extenuating. Okay. Circumstances in the case unknown to the society of her. Oh my goodness, I've heard of this word a lot. Let me look it up.
Hertfordshire,
Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire,
Hertfordshire. Her mild and steady candor. Candor, is it candor?
candor,
Candor always pleaded for allowances and enjoyed the possibility of mistake, but by everybody else Mr. Darcy was condemned as the worst of men. Oh, oh, I love Mr. Darcy. I can't wait to reach his parts. Yeah, but hey, I've watched the movie a lot of times, multiple times. Yeah, I have, and I think Mr. Darcy is like misunderstood. But I can't wait to hear from him. Yeah, I can't wait because I love him and Elizabeth's part. Yeah, I do. I'm done reading it. I'm gonna read the next chapter tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna read it tomorrow. I'm proud of myself for reading this. Yeah. Bye bye.